Local missionaries offer a helping hand as they spread their message of faith, plus details on a person of interest identified in a Sarcoxy murder case, and extra security measures are taken ahead of Inauguration Day.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Police identify an Alabama man as a person of interest in a Sarcoxy homicide. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Kate Kelly. Authorities believe 34-year-old Justin Chase Stevens arrived in Sarcoxy on January 1st. Stevens has an active warrant for felony theft. He should be considered armed and dangerous. Police believe he could be connected to the murder of 46-year-old Becky Sanders, who was found on January 13th. Anyone with information on Stevens' whereabouts should call the Jasper County Sheriff's Office. A person of interest in a recent death investigation in Crawford County is now in custody. 37-year-old Nicholas Adam Carrillo is currently being held at the Crawford County Jail. He was arrested last night on drug charges. Police had been searching for Carrillo ever since a man's body was found at an Arcadia residence on Thursday. Nick Kelly joins us now with our first look at weather, and I know it's cold outside.
Yeah, at least we did better with temperatures today compared to yesterday, Kate, since we had to deal with all the clouds and the snow, but it was still a rather cool afternoon after we started cold at 27. We did hit a high of 42, which is not too far where we should be for a normal January 16th around here. We did get cold pretty fast once again, though, with some pockets of clearing underneath partly the mostly cloudy skies. What looks like a few random flurries on the radar, not really making its way down to the ground. We'll stay dry for the overnight while we keep an eye on our next wave trying to come at us out of the Dakotas and Minnesota. In the meantime, though, like you said, Kate, it's cold. Most of us sitting in the mid-30s right now, and I don't think we're done dropping off just yet. I'm expecting overnight lows to actually drop back into the upper 20s, with some spots potentially seeing a little more clearing before we see the clouds roll back in for tomorrow. There could be a stray shower or two during the afternoon, but I think most of us will stay dry and highs back near 43. We'll break down what else is to come for the week ahead here in just a bit, Kate.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Nick. President Trump is expected to break long-standing tradition and not participate in Wednesday's inauguration. The first of several events for President-elect Biden kick off tonight. Nicole Killian has more from the White House.
President Trump remained behind closed doors Saturday, but there was no shortage of activity at the White House. His lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was spotted entering the complex, while staffers carted out boxes of their belongings. With 4 days left in his term, CBS News has learned President Trump is contemplating a final send-off full of pomp and circumstance on the morning of the inauguration.
I, Donald John Trump.
Mr. Trump will not attend the inauguration, unlike Vice President Mike Pence, who finally phoned to congratulate his successor, Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, late this week. 4 separate House committees launched a joint review of the Capitol insurrection as harrowing new details emerged about how close a mob got to the vice president and his family. At one point, rioters were less than 100 feet from where the Pences were hiding before the Secret Service evacuated them to safety. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar cited the siege in his resignation letter and took a parting shot at the president, quote, "Unfortunately, the actions and rhetoric following the election, especially during this past week, threaten to tarnish these and other historic legacies of this administration."
Donald Trump remains a threat to our democracy and will be held accountable.
As the Senate prepares for an impeachment trial, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi declined to give a timetable for when the article could be handed over.
So urgent was the matter. They're now working on taking this to trial.
Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
Officials this weekend are concerned about armed protesters at the Minnesota state capitol. Security measures are already being put in place. Roads around the capitol in St. Paul are now closed off. The Department of Public Safety says Minnesota State Patrol troopers will be visible and available to respond this weekend, as well as National Guard soldiers after they were activated on Wednesday. The world has marked another devastating COVID milestone. More than 2 million lives lost to the virus. It took roughly 8 months to reach the first million deaths, just 4 to reach the second. The United States leads all countries with nearly 400,000 deaths. Brazil is second, followed by India. CBS's Danya Backus has the latest.
A nation on the brink braces for another threat. The CDC now warning that the highly contagious UK COVID variant could dominate the U.S. by spring. It also estimates 90,000 more people could die from the virus in the next 3 weeks, highlighting the urgency for vaccinations.
It's just absolute shame on America that this is how the rollout of this vaccine is going.
Operation Warp Speed is moving in slow motion. The release of more doses promised by the Trump administration not happening. Governors across the country confronting the failure.
They were lying. They don't have any doses held back.
Their empty promises are literally playing with people's lives.
My guess is it's gross incompetence.
Don't worry, we'll increase the supply because we're going to send you the second dose. Not true.
President-elect Joe Biden pledges to fix the botched rollout.
But you have my word that we will manage the hell out of this operation.
In Arizona, the rate of infections is among the highest in the world.
It's agonizing. He was like gasping for air, like he was being smothered.
Monique Korbacheski's husband, Bob, a 42-year-old father of 3, has been fighting for his life there since mid-December and may require a double lung transplant.
I married a man thinking that we were going to grow old together, and I don't know if he's going to come home.
Vaccination super sites like the one here at Dodger Stadium take on a more urgent need. Saturday, LA County officials confirmed its first case of the UK variant, and the county has now surpassed 1 million coronavirus cases. Danya Backus, CBS News, Los Angeles.
We take this time now to honor another 4-state hero. Master Chief Petty Officer Jack Kendrick served in the Navy, spending time stationed in Korea and Vietnam. Kendrick was part of the blockade during the Cuban Missile Crisis. He earned many honors, including 4 Bronze Stars, 5 Good Conduct Medals, and 14 ribbons. His hometown, Fort Scott, Kansas. We thank you, Jack Kendrick, our 4-state hero. That's news and weather in our first 7 minutes. Just ahead, some local volunteers are changing lives one service project at a time, and poker meets water for an underwater card game in Joplin. A young group of missionaries is spreading a message of hope by offering a helping hand. KOAM's Zach Dodge shares how these local volunteers helped a Joplin family through a difficult time.
Over the last couple of months, Adam Thornton and his family have struggled to keep up with everything on their 7-acre property outside of Joplin.
We've been here 6 years, and the place looks almost as if it did whenever we moved in.
He has 2 young kids and works full-time, and his dad, who's a military veteran, recently had some health issues that keep him from doing as much as he'd like.
It's grown over and needs help.
So some volunteers responded to that call, offering free services as they spread their message of faith.
As we're out here, we serve people like these wonderful people, and we also teach people about Jesus Christ and try to help them come closer to Him.
They're missionaries with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who were originally supposed to go to completely different countries. Then the pandemic hit, so they were reassigned to the Joplin area, which led them to the Thornton family. They helped out by cleaning up the brush and down trees from their yard and restoring their pond so the family can enjoy time by the water again.
Just like seeing them smile, seeing them be happy when they're helped out it's amazing.
With Dad being disabled and Mom being between 2 jobs and me working myself, we really just haven't really had time to upkeep, so we really appreciate them and everything they do.
But they explain it's about more than just doing work. It's about showing the light in the world and letting people know they aren't alone.
I feel like it's just kind of a dark time for a lot of people. A lot of people just don't have support, and so it's good to be there for them.
And now Adam and his fiance might do the same.
If I can find somewhere local in Joplin to do the same thing they're doing, I wouldn't mind doing something like that at all.
In Jasper County, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
If you live in the Joplin or Carl Junction area and need a helping hand, we've put contact information for the missionary group on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Poker underwater? Well, it might sound like a bit of a gamble, but it turned out all right for these pros at Calypso Scuba in Joplin. Today, players took part in a submerged Texas Hold'em game using waterproof cards. Winners took home prizes from Calypso. Rounds lasted about 15 minutes.
We don't have our crowds here getting larger, but I see poker games being done all across the country now. So people see that we have done it and they're like, well, what a fun thing. And so they'll call me up and say, how do you do that anyway? And I explain the procedures and they start having their own also.
Players surely worked up an appetite, and the event ended with a chili feed to satisfy that hunger. As more Americans make an effort to live a healthy lifestyle, it can be difficult to keep up with what you should and shouldn't eat. Artificial sweeteners have been controversial as the use of these sugar substitutes has soared over the past decade. A new study offers some good news for those trying to replace sugar with artificial sweeteners.
As a registered dietitian, Kelly Scully strives to practice what she preaches when it comes to a healthy lifestyle.
I try to have at least 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day and 2 servings of fruit a day. I'm also an active runner.
To limit her sugar intake, she enjoys coffee with artificial sweetener, a substitute that's been questioned by scientists for over a decade.
I think there's a lot of conflicting information out there on what's healthy for us, what's okay for us, what's okay to eat, what we should be avoiding.
Recently, a very high-profile report came out that suggested that artificial sweeteners can induce rapidly a glucose intolerance by changing your gut microbiota.
To resolve the confusion, George Kariasis and his team at the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center conducted a study giving the maximum recommended amount of the common artificial sweetener saccharin to healthy adults for 2 weeks. This allowed researchers to isolate the effects of the saccharin without having to account for underlying conditions or unhealthy habits. They expected to confirm that these substances do in fact contribute to adverse effects.
But we didn't. We didn't see any changes at all in gut microbiota, and obviously we didn't see any changes in altering the metabolic profile of healthy individuals.
The results give consumers peace of mind that saccharin doesn't drive the development of diabetes and is a healthier option than added sugars, which are well documented to contribute to diabetes as well as heart disease and obesity.
At this point, there's no comparison in terms of the choice, I think. But again, like everything else, in moderation.
So Kelly will continue enjoying her daily coffee as is, trusting the evidence that it's a healthy choice. At the Ohio State Wexner Medical Center, this is Barb Consiglio reporting.
Future research will study each type of FDA-approved artificial sweetener individually to examine if there are differences in how the body metabolizes them. They also plan to do some long-term studies to ensure artificial sweeteners are safe for those who use them in their daily lives. Coming up, Nick Kelly returns with a full look at your forecast, and a little later, details on a volcanic eruption in Indonesia.
And look at that starting image from the Indigo time-lapse just outside of Seneca, Missouri. That was leftover rain and snow that iced up on the lens from the storm system that passed on through yesterday. But sure enough, once we got some returning partly to mostly sunny skies working in, away goes the ice, and a nice-looking time-lapse to finish the afternoon and early evening out. In terms of what lies down the road, I'm seeing a weak system pass on by tomorrow with maybe a few showers possible during the afternoon. Overall, though, with systems coming and going, we're going to be bouncing between cool and chilly temperatures, thinking 40s and 50s throughout the course of the week. And again, those systems with some more moisture on the way, which means other rain and potential snow chances that we'll have to keep an eye on. In the meantime, though, even though it is turning partly cloudy again for many of you, if not mostly cloudy, nothing underneath the clouds. We're dry and cold at 10:18 on the Saturday night. 35 degrees in Joplin, feels like 31 with that southwest wind at 5 miles per hour. Outside the Joplin metro, we are 38 in Chanute, 35 in Neosho, 36 in Cassville. 32s, though, for Greenfield and Stockton Lake. So everyone is slowly dropping back through the 30s, as we expected, but I think we're not done dropping up just yet. Even though we have partly to mostly cloudy skies in place, any breaks in the clouds that we get will encourage temperatures to drop back into the upper 20s tonight, with nothing really showing up, rather, on the radar, or popping up, if you want to combine those two words. Where are we here now? The storm system that came through yesterday, working through the northern parts of New England now, so they'll have to deal with snow as they wrap up the weekend. At the surface, it looks as though there's not a lot going on except for high pressure across the northern Rockies, dictating that northwest wind back in here for tomorrow. On the other hand, though, you go upstairs to the jet stream level, there is another quick little upper-level wave coming across Minnesota and the Dakotas. That's going to stay mainly to our north and east, but as long as it passes nearby, we will have some cloud cover return again for your Sunday, and again, maybe a few showers during the afternoon. But overall, we're dry for tonight. Overnight lows dropping back into the upper 20s, turning partly sunny again by lunchtime, and I think for a good deal of us, mostly cloudy for the afternoon. And again, with a little more moisture trying to sweep by as well during the afternoon, maybe a few random showers. That seems to be about it. 27 in the morning, 39 by noon, afternoon highs right around 43. What about up north? Because allegedly the Chiefs at Arrowhead will be playing the Browns tomorrow. They may have a few snow flurries with some colder air upstairs to work with, but they'll mainly sit right around 40 throughout the game and then drop back into the upper 30s by the time the game comes to an end, hopefully with the Chiefs taking a win away from the Browns. As far as the rest of the week goes, that quick system passes on by for early Monday. Another wave for Monday, Tuesday could give us a few showers. Then we'll just wait and see when that low in the desert southwest wants to kick out of here. Once it does by Thursday and Friday, that is when we'll see better chances for rain. And if we play our cards right for Friday morning, maybe just cold enough for a rain-snow mix before the system moves on out. So that's the next bigger storm system, if you want to call it that, to keep an eye on over the next several days. But temperatures look okay, mainly bouncing between the 40s and the 50s again. 43 tomorrow, 52 Martin Luther King Day, 42 Tuesday, 48 Wednesday. Then we'll be back near 53 on Thursday, Kate.
All right, sounds good. Overall, not a bad-looking week for January.
No, and even though rain chances seem to be the predominant rule here, I do see pockets of dry time, so thankfully no all-day washouts on the horizon.
All right, sounds good. We'll take what we can get. Thanks,
Yes,
Nick.
we will.
A volcano in Indonesia's East Java province erupted today, spewing ash and smoke into the sky. Indonesia has nearly 130 active volcanoes, more than any other country, and while many show high levels of activity, it can be weeks or even months before an eruption. Other volcanoes on the island of Java have also shown signs of activity recently. Hundreds of Honduran migrants continued their journey through Guatemala today, crossing internal checkpoints as they seek to reach the United States. A group of more than 1,000 had crossed the border into Guatemala the previous night without registering. The Guatemalan government described the entry of migrants as a transgression to their sovereignty and called on the isthmus's government to take action to avoid putting its inhabitants and the communities through which migrants transit at risk in the face of the health risk derived from the pandemic. We'll be back with a look at sports next.
The Pittsburgh State women are one of the hottest teams in the MIAA right now. Those Gorillas have won 6 straight games after beating Emporia State on Thursday night. Now today, Gorillas on the road against Washburn, trying to push that streak to 7 games. In the fourth, tied at 56, Julia Johnson scores 14 points, 10 rebounds for Johnson. Gorillas up 2. Now other end, Washburn ties it right back up at 58. We're going to overtime. Now, in OT, we're tied at 60. Tristan Gegg, she had a nice night. 24 points. She hit 5 threes, including that one there from the left side. Gorillas make it 7 straight wins, beating Washburn 69-61 in overtime. The Gorilla men try to get back over 500 this afternoon against the 8th-ranked Ichabods. Now, Pitt State was actually within 2 at halftime. They fall on this one 84-62. And Bobby Arthur Williams leads the way for PSU with 17 points. The Missouri Southern Lions are also in action today on the road against Emporia State. The Southern women try to avoid a 3rd straight loss after falling to Washburn on Thursday. Sophomore Maddie Stokes had a monster game today. 21 points, 22 rebounds, both of those career highs. It is Emporia State, though, winning 73-62. Now, on the men's side, Lions needed this one, and they got it, 75-64. Lawson Jenkins and Cam Martin each scored 19. The Chanute Blue Comets host the SEK League wrestling duels today. The defending state champion Comets are aiming for their 4th consecutive league title this weekend. We'll start the highlights in the semifinals today. Chanute facing Pittsburgh. Chanute rolls fast in this one, 138 pounds. Colton Seeley wins by a fall, a little more than a minute over Alex Alvarado. Next match, 145, went into the second period, but Chanute's Ty Leedy gets by J.J. White with a pin. Now, Matt Smith and Zane Decker won decisions for Pittsburgh, but here, top-ranked Braden Dillow gets a pin late in the first period over Caden Barber. Chanute earns a spot in the finals, 70-6 over Pittsburgh. Other semifinal. This one was really fun. Indy and Fort Scott, 120 pounds, Sean Berger gets the leg over there, gets the pin over Cohen Wright. 160 pounds, Donald Harper doing work for Fort Scott. 3 minutes into it, gets the win by fall over Ethan Line. Check this out, Independence on the comeback trail. Eli Walters, tough match for him, but he does get the pin 5 minutes in. Indy within 5 going to the final match. So obviously they need a pin to win. Here comes Sir Grant. Look at this, man. Gets a little reverse there. He's on top, and that's it. Sir Grant wins it for Indy, 36-35 over Fort Scott. So here we go, Independence and Chanute for the SEK League title. Trent Clements, ranked number 1 in the state at 120 pounds, takes care of business for the Comets in the second period over Cohen Wright. Quentin Harris at 152 pounds for Chanute, also winning by fall in the second period over Ian Johnson. Blue Comets just rolling at that point. Back to Braden Dillow, though. He finishes his match in under a minute. Chanute does make it 4 straight titles. They top Independence 72-9.
The season's a little strange because postseason's a little mixed up, but anytime we're competing for something that goes on the wall in the wrestling room, that's important to us, and it just feels good. A lot of guys really stepped up today and wrestled well.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
What better way to wrap things up than with a group of playful pandas? In Shenyang City, China, 4 pandas got a taste of some snow. The cuddly creatures had a blast playing outside in that winter wonderland. Nick, I don't think we have a snow day to look forward to anytime soon, but it's definitely cold out there.
It certainly is. If we're talking snow, Kate, maybe our next shot for sun, rain, and snow will be Friday morning, but maybe a few showers tomorrow with highs of 43. We'll go 52 with a few showers again on Martin Luther King Day.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Nick. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Until then, good night.